In the past couple of years, there was probably no other group of people more neglected by the smartphone industry than those who wanted a phone that is small yet good, not handicapped by subpar chips and cameras. Hi everyone, my name is Vic Christoph with PhoneArena, and I am one of those that felt neglected these past few years until about now. This year, Samsung aims to finally deliver to this neglected crowd with a compact superphone that makes no compromises. It has top-notch specs, camera and performance. This compact superphone is the brand new Galaxy S10e. And while we're not yet sure what the E stands for, Samsung says this phone is built for those who want all the premium essentials. So we guess E stands for essential after all. So where exactly does the S10e fit in terms of size, and isn't it too small? Now here's how it breaks down. This new Galaxy is not quite as tiny as an iPhone SE, but it is almost exactly as big as an iPhone XS or a Google Pixel 3. So no, the S10e is definitely not too small for comfortable use. Now it also has the design and styling of its more expensive S10 siblings, with a similar premium glass and metal construction and tiny bezels. One different thing is the flat screen, which actually reduces accidental touches and is definitely not a bad thing. With the S10e you also get full IP68 water and dust protection, as well as familiar Samsung staples like a 3.5mm headphone jack and a microSD card slot. Now speaking of the headphone jack, the AKG tuned headphones that come for free with the Galaxy S10e look stylish and sit very comfortably in the ear, plus they sound quite good for a pair of free headphones. What's also making a comeback is the Bixby button. We still don't understand why Samsung insists on having a separate Bixby button despite the overwhelming consensus that Bixby is neither as good nor as fast as, say, the Google Assistant. If you're not using Bixby though, this time around you can actually turn this button into something useful. In settings you can change this button to start your favorite app, and I have set this to open Spotify for instance. This makes it finally useful. The more interesting thing, however, is the fingerprint scanner. It's built in the home key on the right, so it's a regular one, no fancy ultrasonic technology here. And since this button is a bit narrow though, I have noticed that I get more faulty readings than usual, especially when I use the phone with a case, so it's not quite perfect, but still it works fine most of the time. As I was using the S10e, I was wondering these days what is more important for me in a phone, whether it's the camera or the great battery life. With these thoughts at the back of my head, I was just scrolling around and suddenly it struck me that there was one thing that did not fail to impress me every single time I unlocked this phone. And it was neither the camera nor the battery life. It was the screen. The 5.8-inch dynamic AMOLED on the Galaxy S10e is such an incredibly rich and good-looking display that it alone is a good enough reason to buy this phone and just admire the colors. It's a 1080p panel, in case you are wondering, and at the smaller screen size, you don't need a higher resolution, everything is perfectly sharp. The contrast, the deep blacks, the viewing angles, everything is excellent. And what about the punch hole camera? Well, it's tinier than a notch, so it's less of a distraction, but it's still definitely noticeable. You can also mask it in settings, but that creates an artificial big bezel at the top of the phone and seems to make matters worse, not better. At the end of the day, the punch hole camera is just not a big deal. It's something that you get used to and move on. Samsung's TouchWiz, or One UI as the company calls it these days, has its reputation preceding it, and not in a good way. But these days, Samsung's interface has improved a great deal. Gone are the endless technical options, and menus have now moved to the bottom of the screen where you can easily reach them. One of the biggest new features in One UI are navigation gestures. Now, navigation gestures are not enabled by default, and you need to manually enable them, but it's worth at least giving them a shot. They are a bit cluttered, especially on this here small screen S10e, but you get used to it. Now don't forget that the swipe up and hold from the center is the gesture to start the Google Assistant. You can also find more useful tips and tricks in our video that is linked to the description below. Now what about speed and performance? Here's the deal, the S10e is lightning fast, but it is not smooth. This is an important and a subtle distinction, and it has to do with animations and transitions and the feeling of using a phone, something that those who are looking at benchmarks only will not understand. And while specs don't always tell the whole story, when it comes to storage, well, they do. And here's that story. You have 128 gigs of onboard storage, double that of last year's Galaxies, and double that of iPhone rivals. You might not appreciate this extra storage on day one, but you definitely will appreciate it in a few months or after a year after you buy the phone. Samsung also keeps the microSD card slot here, which is an easy way to expand the storage even further should you run out. The Galaxy S10e comes with 2 cameras on the back and 1 at the front. But are the photos really great, and is it better than the Galaxy S9? The answer to that first question is yes, and the answer to the second question is, well, not really much better in terms of pure quality, but that wide-angle camera is indeed a very welcome addition. Even though you have no telephoto camera on the S10e, you can still take live focus portrait shots using the main camera. These turn out good most of the time, and the effect also detects people easily in low light too. There are also a few new ways to blur the background, and these can be fun as well. There are some great new video features on the S10e. The biggest one is probably the new Super Steady mode that you enable by tapping the wavy hand icon at the top corner in the camera app. Now this only works for 1080p videos, but it truly makes some magic happen and you get impressively smooth footage, almost as if you were using a gimbal. It's that good. Of course, 4K 60 and 4K 30 modes are both available, and for the first time on a Galaxy, there is no time limit for these videos. In terms of sound, you have 2 loudspeakers on the S10e, one at the bottom and another one embedded in the earpiece. And considering how small this phone is, we were really blown away with the quality of the loudspeakers. First, sound gets very loud without too much distortion, and second, you have very clear and crisp midtones and highs and vocals. And when it comes to call quality, we've also had zero issues with the S10e. Voices sound very loud and very clear with a natural ring to them, and the mic also produces a clear and crisp sound for your callers on the other end of the line. With a 3100 mAh battery on board, the S10e has the smallest battery cell of all new S10 models. So how is the actual battery life? Our real-life experience shows that this phone will definitely last you a full day, even if it's a longer one, and you should not be worried about the smaller battery size. Samsung also provides a 15-watt fast charger in the box, and it fully recharges the phone in less than an hour and a half. You also have support for fast wireless charging, which is a nice extra, but the truly novel thing here is the support for reverse charging, which allows your phone itself to act as the wireless charger. This is a clever way to charge up accessories like the new Galaxy Buds or this Galaxy Watch Active, but if you try to charge another phone, you will see how your battery drains way too quickly, so maybe that's not a good idea. Now finally, at a price of $750, the Galaxy S10e is definitely not an affordable phone by any means. It's merely less expensive than the ultra-premium flagships that have flooded the market recently. Good news is that deals are available from day one, and for those who want a compact phone that is great in pretty much every aspect, the Galaxy S10e is a phone that you see and say, finally. Finally, a no-compromise, compact Android phone. Sure, it has its flaws, Bixby, the slightly awkward fingerprint scanner, the not quite best ever camera, but those are just the proverbial fly in the ointment. The Galaxy S10e is a great phone, and it gets our 2 thumbs up. If you enjoyed watching this video, why don't you also hit that thumbs up button below, subscribe to see even more. My name is Vic Christoph, and I will talk to you next time right here on PhoneArena.